Coach. What's kind of been the best developments on your side of the ball, and what players have maybe made the most progress since you began?
I think our guys are learning how to play really hard and practice really hard. I think that's the biggest thing overall for the entire defense, the consistency of effort during practice. That's something that we put a lot of emphasis on, and our guys are buying in. So that's been really great to see. I think in regards to individual improvements that some of the guys are making, there's just been, I would say, just a ton of improvement, across the board, every position, first team, second team. But I think Amir Boyd Matthews, in no particular order, just guys that have kind of flashed. I think Amir Boyd Matthews has come in and has done a great job of learning what we're doing and improving his technique. Coach McBath has done a great job developing him as a younger guy. I think, up front, I think guys like Chuck Esters has done some really nice things for us from a consistency standpoint. Skylar, Gil Howard, learning the system. And I think, for maybe some younger players, Peyton Morgan at strong safety, Malik Esquiera at free safety, Michael Dingle at star are some guys that have made some really good progress this spring. But I've been really pleased with, I could rattle off name after name. I think guys have really, as they've started to understand the techniques that we're asking them to play and how to play them, done a great job of just improving within, the things we're asking them to do. And they've been bought in as far as, wanting to get better and being very focused and intentional about what they're doing every day.
With so many defensive backs who have come here from so many different places, what's the challenge in terms of not only their learning the system but also being able to communicate on the field with each other, and where are they in that regard?
I think we've made a ton of progress. We were just remarking earlier today, Saturday we had our scrimmage. I think in the back end we did a really nice job of leveraging the football, adjusting the motions. When you come in, coverage is coverage to a certain extent. So different systems, terminology is different, but certain structural parts of a quarters concept, a cover two, a 3 deep are going to carry over, and there'll be a lot of similarities on how those things are coached and played from maybe system to system. I think our coaches, Coach Green, Coach McBath, have done a great job of helping our guys learn their assignments, learn the terminology, maybe for some of our returners, for some of the new guys, there might be a little bit different way that we're coaching the technique or a key progression or whatever the case may be. They've done a great job of learning how we're playing it here, the terminology, and then you hit the nail on the head, the communication in particular at the third level of the defense with motion adjustments, formation adjustments. Those are the things that sometimes take a little bit longer to develop and get really confident in, but I think our guys have done a great job, and a huge part of that is their want to in terms of extra film work, just students of the game and their desire to really want to learn that assignment, so they've got a lot of confidence in what they're doing, and that's, I think, led to them playing with a lot of confidence on the practice field.
Coach, with David Bailey now added to the equation, how have you seen his presence kind of help your defensive unit go up to the next level in terms of the pass rush?
Well, he's slowly just been integrated for the last couple of practices. To say that we've really gotten to see him do a lot right now just in the case, but he was able to get out there on Saturday in a kind of a thud tempo for him as far as his progression from helmets and so forth like that, and flash. You can see the things quickly that he does really well show up movement-wise, his technique and pass rush, even just seeing him in some of the practices as far as individual work, group work maybe, has been great to see, and I think he's been welcomed by our guys on the team. That's been great to see, and I think that everybody sees that he can add value to what we're doing, and it's an exciting time to get a guy like that, in the fold in our program.
And on the other end of the defensive line, would you say that David's presence has kind of given Romello a little bit of an inspiration to amp up his game to where they could be like a great quarterback attackers when it comes on Saturday?
I think that Romello, along with all the guys up front, have really embraced David being here and are excited about adding him into what has already been, I think, a really productive and fun group to watch this spring. So they've embraced him with open arms. I think everybody's excited about how he can help us just continue to ramp up our development and our ability to impact things up front in a really positive way, and that's been great to see.
Even though this is your first year here at Texas Tech, would you say this is the deepest defensive unit you've seen?
Yes.
In your career?
It is. We were talking about that. I've been fortunate to work with some really good groups defensively, but across the board, I don't know that I've worked with a group that is as talented as what we have here. From the first, second to the third level of the defense, the depth that we have, I think there's a lot of positions where we've got depth to where guys can come in different roles and different ways, but can come in and impact the game on Saturday. We've got a lot of growth still that we need to make between now and then, but the potential for us, I believe, to have the ability for guys to go out and play really hard and not be fearful of sustaining that level of play, because we can roll the next guy in and he can play just as hard with just as much confidence. And I think that the drop-off from one group to the next, I mean, we're getting at certain spots to where I just don't see much of a drop-off. And that's when it's really fun, because those guys can cut it loose and hopefully be able to do that for 4 quarters.
And of the non-returners from last year's team, who's been the biggest sponge of just absorbing all the piece of information that you can dish out and then have it executed on the practice field?
You're saying of the new guys?
The new guys, yes, sir.
I think Cole Wisniewski at free safety, as far as a new guy coming in and learning what we're doing really well with a lot of confidence. And at that free safety position, he is a guy that has to be able to get us into motion adjustment, 3-by-1 adjustments, and kind of be the quarterback of the defense back there a little bit. He's done a really great job with that. He's extremely smart individual, extremely smart football player. He's got a lot of experience, and that's shown up quickly. And he's also invested in learning what to do and how to do it, extra time on his own, studying film, and all those things that you need to be a really good football player.
Coach, what percentage of the defense has been installed right now, and where do you feel this team is in that install?
The majority of it, 90%. I think probably what we're looking at that we haven't gotten to yet, or maybe just some of the things on the periphery that we've got certain tools in our toolkit already as far as third down or different types of situations. But, hey, there's a few more bells and whistles we'd like to get in with a blitz pattern, coverage off of that, maybe, a short yardage defense or something like that. But I think the biggest thing for us as a staff was laying a foundation that we could build on to where our kids can play with a lot of confidence, know their fundamentals, know their techniques, know their assignment, their alignment, where their eyes need to be, get them playing really hard, playing with leverage, understanding where their help is. If you can do those things from a foundational standpoint, then it's easier to come back and say, hey, here's another tool that you can use on third down. Here's another tool that you can use in a short yardage situation. And so that's kind of where we're at. I think from a developmental standpoint, with what we have in, I think our guys are not where we need to be when we get to the fall, but we are on the right track. I think our guys are bonding together. I think they're having a lot of fun playing together. I think they're playing really hard. I've mentioned that already a couple of times, but it has been really fun to see our defensive football team in practice fly around and pursue the football and play really hard through their leverage point, and they've been doing that on a consistent basis. We've challenged them with that. They've responded to it, and if we can continue to build with that, then I just think that that'll get us going where we need to get to.
So what's the one thing that this defense needs to improve on to perform better to make you feel comfortable for the fall?
Time. We just need time. We need reps. I really like where we're headed. I really do. I wouldn't pinpoint any one area and say we need to improve this specifically necessarily. I just think that our coaches are doing a great job coaching. I really like our staff right now and the bond that we're forming. I believe that our players are excited to be here and excited about the opportunity that lies ahead for this season. And we just need time and reps. Just the longer we're together and continuing to build the momentum that we've got right now in a positive direction, then we'll just keep getting better. And hopefully that'll carry on, through the summer and fall camp. And then, game one's going to be game one. And hopefully we can continue to use those bank reps throughout the season, live and in color. And we'll just keep getting better as the year goes on. And hopefully we'll be playing our best football towards the, end of the season.
So which one of the Red Raider offensive players have challenged your defense, and your defense is pretty much tired of seeing them?
Caleb Douglas is a handful on the perimeter, and getting, for our defensive backs to be able to go up against him. He's a little banged up right now, but early on in spring when we got a chance to get out there and have to face him, I think he's as good a receiver as I've seen. And for our guys to be able to compete against him every day and know that, hey, if we can do a halfway decent job of covering him at times, then that'll bode well for us, and they'll know that they've gone against a really quality competition and can perform if we can manage to do that in practice.
With the improvements that you've seen, do you believe that this team is closer to fighting for a Big 12 championship, and why?
I think that I like where we're at from a defensive standpoint. And, yes, overall, obviously I focus most of my attention on how we're doing defensively. But I think that that's a long way off. What we've got to focus on each and every day is the day, be where our feet are at, focus on the process and not the trophy at the end of the deal. And I think our guys are investing in that. And if we can do a great job of focusing on the process and taking advantage of every day, every meeting, every practice rep, every weight room session, recovery, all those types of things, getting in that great routine that we always talk to our guys about, then over time I think we'll be happy with the results as we keep moving forward.
You're speaking of Michael Dingle moving to the star position. What does he give you the most out of that defense, given his athleticism, being the next track guy? What kind of things does that open up for the rest of the defense?
I think he's got a lot of different skills. That star position is a hybrid safety position, depending on what call we're in and how things are structured. The way I look at it is that guy can be a defensive lineman. When we blitz him off the edge, he's part of the front. Now you're becoming a guy that's part of the line. When you put him out there and you're playing man coverage on a number 2 slot receiver, or a match coverage with a post defender, now you're playing corner or slot safety, however you want to look at it, and then a variety of the underneath zones that we play. So that's a really challenging position to play. It's a really fun position to play because you get the ability to impact the game in a lot of different ways. But it's a challenging position. He's got a skill set from an athletic standpoint as far as his physicality, his speed, his change of direction skills, to where he gives us the ability, as he continues to grow and learn what he's doing, along with other guys at that position, that can do some really good stuff. And the more that player can handle from a assignment standpoint, from a technique standpoint, it just opens up more things that you can do from a coverage standpoint with different matchups or schemes that you're seeing. And he's not the only one. A.J. McCarty has played there a lot. He's done really well. Brendan Jordan, who's playing strong safety for us, but we're working him in there a little bit, and he's played that position some in the past as well. Oliver Miles has gone in there a little bit in some packages. So we've got Marcus Ramon Edwards there as well. So we've got I think a room that is working hard and continuing to improve, and that position is a important one for the defense for sure.
Going back to the depth, you said this was probably the deepest defense you've had in your coaching tenure. Would I be correct in saying that?
Yes.
What coaching challenges does this present? Because at Houston you'd have to get more with less, and here you have the depth. So how do you keep these guys motivated to give you everything?
These guys are self-motivated. They're self-starters right now. That's what I've seen, and that's what the best players are. We've got a lot of really good football players on our team this year, I believe, and they're good people. They're hard workers. They love football. They want to be the best that they can be. So for us right now as coaches, this has been, just a great experience to try to help these guys achieve their goals from an individual improvement standpoint. And when you're doing that as a coach, as opposed to trying to motivate guys to want to get better, now you can just do a better job, hopefully, of coaching the X's